Hello, welcome back to this practice log. I'm doing another Pwnisher weekly challenge, and this time the theme is monochromatic. I had two initial ideas which I gathered reference for. The first was inspired by the Las Vegas scene in Blade Runner. A bit cliche, but I thought it might be good to practice and try and recreate something like that. So I found a few artists on ArtStation that caught my eye. I love this Mandalorian piece in particular. The other idea was to try and create a ruin overgrown with nature, something out of The Last of Us or Planet of the Apes. In the end, I didn't go with either idea, but chose to make a shot around the color white. It's heavily inspired by the aesthetic of Minas Tirith, and I always thought that there was so much variation found in just one color. So I started by creating a landscape in Houdini, layering different height-filled noises together. I downloaded a few rock models from Megascans and placed them in the scene to give the horizon a bit more interest. The grave models are from the Luminara kitbash pack. I used the height-filled scatter node to generate points and scatter the graves randomly. I previously made a workflow to retarget metahumans to Mixamo animations, and so I generated a new metahuman, downloaded a new Mixamo animation, changed the file path, and it updated procedurally pretty well. I'm still looking into making clothes for metahuman. I don't have Marvelous Designer at the moment, but thought I could try to find a Houdini workflow for clothes. I have a clothing pack made for Marvelous, but an issue I ran into was that the metahuman rest A pose was different to the Marvelous A pose. I could possibly try to change the rest pose in Houdini, but I'll have to test that for next time. This time I ended up blasting the areas for clothing and using a peak node to slightly expand the geo along its normals. It gives the illusion of some kind of underlayer. I added a cape simmed using Vellum, and I'm using an attached to geometry node to pin the parts of the cape to the character. But when simmed, there's this strange yanking effect. I'm not sure what the issue is at the moment. Could be a substeps thing, or maybe the attached to geo node wasn't the best method to do this. I added this character into the scene, but the environment was looking a little lifeless. Something I wanted to add for last week's render were flags blowing in the wind. So I added them in this time, and I think it makes the environment more interesting and somehow more desolate. I brought all these elements into Blender for surfacing and lighting. I wanted to go for a tilt-shift look, almost like the objects were miniature, so I exaggerated the f-stop to get that effect. In Comp, I graded it, added lens distortion and grain, and this is the final render. See you next time.